Hello class, I am Zenobia Bassett and I'll be taking you through Human Resource Management for this semester. The course is into 6 units, but this is Unit 1, Session 1. But after the end of this unit, you should be able to explain the concept of human resource, list some examples of human resource, identify and explain some tasks or functions of a human resource manager. Explain the concept of human resource policy. Describe the legal environment of the human resource manager and explain the challenges of human resource management. So Unit 1 is the nature of human resource management. So Section 1 of Unit 1 is human resource management at work. After the end of this session, you should be able to list the general functions of management, explain what staffing in organizations entails, identify the link between staffing and human resource management, and describe the management process for any business organization of your choice. First off, we are going to look at the function of management as a whole. So management involves efforts to accomplish desired goals and objectives. So every management, or the primary function of every management, is to ensure that what they set out to do, they are able to put resources in place, organize, lead, and control to achieve that objective. So first off, managing a course of action as a management could either be done by an individual or a group initiative. So management doesn't entirely need to be one person identified as a manager. Management could also be in a team, a group of people taking the initiative to manage to achieve a certain objective. So the functions for effective management include planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So we are going to take the functions for effective management one after the other. So planning involves identifying what you want to do and how you want to do it. The steps in planning involves establishing goals and standards. You develop a strategic plan or procedures to achieve the goal that you set for yourself. You predict or project future occurrences. As you've established a goal you want, you now put measures in place on how you want to achieve it. But as you put the measures in place, you should identify that the occurrences, there could be positive occurrences, negative occurrences. What could go wrong at this stage of my planning? What do I want to achieve after this stage of my planning? So that's how much you have to predict. So you are going to predict for future occurrences, be it positive or negative. After you've gone through all these and your outcome is, you've achieved your outcome, you have to revise your outcome to see if what you wanted or you set out to achieve, you've been able to achieve it effectively. We establish rules. As people, as a unit, we all need rules to guide our day-to-day activities. So even in our day-to-day lives, when we get up in the morning, we plan our lives. So when you plan your life, today I want to go to the market. Today I want to go to the workplace. When I go to the workplace, I want to be able to finish 1 or 2 tasks. Okay? In the course of projecting your tasks, you should be able to also identify or project some future occurrences. Maybe as I am typing a report, my boss can come and ask me to go and buy food for him. Those are some of the occurrences or the aftermath you have to also projects in your planning process. After your outcome, you should revise. Did I type the report well? Is this how I wanted the report to come out? So you establish rules for yourself or for the organization. If this is not going right, let us do it this way. Let us do it that way. So that's what planning as a management function involves. The second function of management involves putting resources in place to efficiently achieve an objective or a set of objectives. After you've planned, you need to organize your resources. Resources here remain human resource, your time, your capital, anything that you consider resourceful in your day-to-day planning as a management. Okay, so here organizing as a function of management, we are looking at establishing departments, strategic delegation and appointment of authority, establishing channels of authority and work coordination, providing necessary structures, equipment and factors of production. So humans as we are, we can't work without resources. So in our day-to-day lives, after we have planned, we need to put measures in place, have the right resources on hand so that we can go and work effectively. Because without the resources, you realize you get to a point you become irrelevant. Whatever you are doing doesn't become resourceful or successful. So organizing as a function of management is very important. The third function of management is staffing. After you set your departments, your structures, you have your resources, delegated all the authority that is needed, you need to identify what employee personnel is suitable for a specific role in order to achieve the objective that you've set for yourself. So here it involves deciding what type of people to employ if you don't have the human resource already. You recruit the requisite number of prospective employees. So when you identify the type of personnel you want, you need to know the number that you want to be able to carry forth with your objectives. Yes, in this sense, I'm going to recruit the requisite number of prospective employees. After you've recruited them and selected the suitable or appropriate employees for your functions, you need to assign the tasks to them. After you've assigned tasks, delegated power, and given them the authority, and provided the right resources that they would need, you need to evaluate employee performance. In evaluation of employee performance, you set a bar. So this is the standard and this is the outcome. Were they able to achieve the outcome that they wanted to? Is that what you wanted them to do? So the standard is you are going to measure the set standard against the outcome of what the supposed employee did and see if there is any deviation or gap. After you've assessed is evaluated this and you found any gap or not, irrespective, without changing environment and time, you need to train and continually develop your employees. So these are all functions of staffing in an organization as a management. The fourth one is leading. Management involves a lot. As a manager, you need to lead your employees, your team members, to achieve a certain goal. In that sense, you are getting employees to accomplish specific tasks. So I'm a management. I need to know the person to put here, the resources to give the person. That does not mean that I should not neglect my functions for leading my team. I need to make sure that I supervise them, I get them to accomplish the specific tasks that I have assigned to them. No matter the level of trust and confidence you have in your employees, you coordinate individual efforts to make sure that what this person is doing is in line with the next production unit. It's in line with how we are going to achieve the next objective or the next planning technique or procedure you've put in place. You need to continually motivate and maintain employee morale. Employees' performance is mostly boosted by motivation. So you need to continually motivate your staff to make sure that they stay motivated and highly resourceful to you and to attaining your organizational goals. Then you need to control, lastly, you need to control you need to control your employees in their quest to achieve a set objective. So in this sense, you need to make sure that actual performance does not deviate from standard. In the sense that you set standards for performance, such as sale quotas. Sale quotas is when you tell your employees that by the end of today, I want you to have sold 100 units of a bar of soap. I want you to have finished the land construction. I want you to have cleared the decks and filed all the documents. Okay, so that's when you set a quota for your employee to succeed or achieve in a day or in a specified period of time. Then the quality standard is when you measure the quality of employee performance. Production levels is when you make sure that your employees are successfully producing and attaining a certain level of production to meet your day-to-day need or units of production. Then you compare actual performance to set standards. In this sense, you'll be able to identify if there is any deviation so that you can work towards it. Then you need to take corrective actions as and when needed based on the deviations or gaps you realize in the comparison of actual performance to set standards. So, in the scenario from the book, it's such that the scenario from the book, we are asking you if a manager wants to set up a school, what are the necessary things he's supposed to do? So looking at the book, you realize that at each point of the production, the management function, we've given you some questions necessary for identifying what is needed at each point. So assuming I want to set up a school, at my planning stage, I need to know and decide on what school I want to establish, what type of school. I've identified that maybe my school, there's no crèche, there's no senior high school, there's no vocational school. So I need to decide what school do I want to establish, put up. I need to know the resources to put in there. That's all what planning is. Then I need to organize as a function. I need to organize my resources, my money, my human capital, my books, my structures. All those things should be put in place. Though I want to establish a school, do I have the resources, the needed resources to establish a school? After that, I need to make sure that I've staffed. Assuming I've put up the structure, I have my resources now. I need to staff. I need to put drivers in place. I need to put security men in place, teachers in place, administrative staff in place, and all those people to be able to carry out the initial objective, on based on which I made the plan to set up the school. Then the fourth one, I have to lead. As a proprietress or a headmaster or the CEO of a school, I shouldn't just say, okay, I have a management team. My management team is going to do everything for me. As a leader, as a management, whether I'm doing it individually or I have a team of people helping me, I need to make sure that I have put measures in place to lead my people to achieve the set objectives so as not to stray from what I want to do. Please, are we there? Yes. Then lastly, I need to control. So assuming I set up a vocational school, I need to control. I need to make sure that as time is going on, there's advancement in training, there's advancement in technology development. Maybe I set up the school to train people, but now I should assess the environment and see, okay, if I add teaching to it, they should be able to write at least something. So the fact that it's a vocational school doesn't mean that if you're a seamstress, you shouldn't be able to write. So I put all those measures in place, and that sums up what a management function should be. So I believe we've learned something today. So at the end of this session, please, I expect you to know what management and what their functions are. I want you to know that each of the functions is a build up on the other, ensuring that the last one was effective. So the management function is interlinked, intertwined, interdependent on each other. If one is not successful, at least one point will bring out. At the point of controlling, you'll be able to know what is not going on well. But inadvertently, everything is intertwined. We are working together to achieve one personal or common objective. Okay, then after this, I want you to also know that putting these management functions together ensures that the achievement of set of objectives and effective management is very important for the success of an organization. Thank you. See you in our next session. Bye.